Lightwright can share the stock quantities with the Vectorworks inventory, but it's not quite as intuitive as you might hope that exchange would be. What you need to do in Lightwright is tell Lightwright how you want to share the stock quantities in the inventory. And this happens in the data exchange setup, which you get to by clicking the Vectorworks symbol. Earlier on we sort of brushed over these options quite quickly. There's two important tick boxes in here. One is share stock inventory quantities, and the second one is always use Lightwright quantities. Now if this is ticked, Lightwright will push the stock quantities that you put in Lightwright over into Vectorworks, overwriting whatever there was or is in Vectorworks. That is one option, or if you untick this, then it will synchronize the stock quantities between the two. So it really depends on whether you've already set up your Vectorworks drawing with stock quantities or not. So since I haven't set either Lightwright or Vectorworks up yet, I'm going to leave this ticked and put my information into Lightwright to be pushed over into Vectorworks. So right now there should be nothing in Vectorworks. So if I go back in here and have a look under Spotlight, Reports, Lighting Inventory Setup, I can see that, oh, maybe I did do something earlier. I should have all zeros. I think you'll find that your paths will also be at 0 if you haven't experimented earlier. So if I go into Lightwright and I go into Maintenance Instrument Type, oh yeah, so I did try something earlier and I put a stock quantity in here already. Let's put a stock quantity for the zooms in. I don't actually know how many we've got. Let's say we've got 8. How many Fresnels? Let's say 22. We've got a few more PCs, I think, 26, and we've got 4 DL4s. Okay, so we've got our stock quantities in here. So that's maintenance instruments, and we'll close that. And then we go back into Vectorworks. We probably have to reconcile the two now. Let's quickly check. Reports, lighting inventory setup. The numbers haven't appeared yet. So one way to force Lightwright and Vectorworks to compare notes is to go back into our document settings, press the wrong button, Spotlight Preferences, and we tick the Perform a Complete Export on Exit. Now when it says here on exit, it doesn't mean exit as in quit Vectorworks. All it means is clicking anywhere outside of Vectorworks. So if I switch to a different application like Lightwright, that is an exit. And you see nothing needs reconciling here. So Lightwright and Vectorworks have now, I guess, resynchronized just to check whether there's any differences. It says nothing needs reconciling because on the surface nothing's different. There are no obvious sort of position numbers or purpose color, any of these kinds of fields that have changed in one and not the other. If there are any synchronization errors, this is where they would come up. But I do believe that the quantities we put into our maintenance window here, the stock quantities, should now have, fingers crossed, moved over into Vectorworks. So let's have a look. Spotlight, Reports, Lighting Inventory Setup, and here they are. So we now have our quantities in here. There seems to be a follow spot in the drawing somewhere, which might be a leftover from an earlier experiment, I'm not sure. And the iris has a quantity of 0 because I have not yet set my quantities for my accessories. Lightwright's quite specific in where it keeps things. So if I want to look at the accessories and look at those numbers, I'll go to Maintenance, Accessory. And there I get a list of my accessories. So if I put my stock quantities in here, let's say we've got 12. I can even give them a weight. I don't really know what one of those weighs. Let's say ½ kilo. Ooh, good point actually. Right now it's set to pounds. So I'm not going to enter that right now because I want to change that first. And I do that in my preferences, under Lightwright preferences, I get a little tick button for use metric measurements. Definitely want that ticked because I'm a metric kind of person. So now if I go back into my maintenance accessories, you can see the weight is now in kilos and not pounds. So let's say it's 0.5 kilo. Obviously this is going to be useful later on when we start using Lightwright to generate paperwork and count the weight of a bar and that sort of thing.